Hello, welcome back to the channel for another Forza Motorsport video. Now, in today's video I am going to be discussing the new Mclaren 720s GT3 car. Whether it's any good in multiplayer, whether you can actually get wins with it perhaps, or is it just an absolute pile of rubbish. So, without further ado, let's get into the races. Okay, so the first race here at VIR. Now, this is an interesting one. I wasn't really expecting much from this race because VIR is a very difficult track to overtake on. It's really thin and it's basically like constantly a corner. Like there's basically no straights in this track, so it's really hard to overtake. So when I was in the lobby for this race, I really wasn't expecting much, but actually, as we will see, it turned out to be a really good race. Now, for some reason in this race, I just decided to really charge and just try and push as much as I can. So unfortunately there, as you saw, the BMW, I kind of go for a move on the left hand side of the track, which was there at one point, and then he just moves to the left and cuts it off, and then we get a bit tangled up. And another BMW getting pushed wide there, so made up quite a few places already, up to 11th place. So as I was saying earlier, for whatever reason I just decided to really push this race. I really wanted to get a good result in the McLaren. And as you see, it kind of works far more so than I was expecting from a race on VIR, because usually if you start at the back on this track, obviously quite a lot of people are going to go off the track. That's a common occurrence, as you can see there with the Audi doing exactly that. So you will make up places through people crashing, but generally actual on-track overtakes are pretty difficult. But as you'll see, I make it happen in this race. So we've got another McLaren here in front of us in a Golf livery. He's going to defend that corner, and he does it very nicely. He brakes nice and early, gets that move done very nicely, so no way past him there. Although KTM and that Audi going wide on the exit of that corner, so there's two places there, up to 9th. And we'll see, actually, this McLaren in front of us is not a bad driver. So the KTM there going wide comes back onto the track, and if you look, he completely just weaves to block the McLaren getting past him there, which is some questionable driving. And unfortunately that causes the McLaren to go off the track there, and I get past him. So, you know, he didn't really do much wrong there. He was just trying to get past the slower car and got forced off the track. So, you know, unfortunate for him, but nonetheless I'm going to take that position. So coming to the end of the first lap, only a 3-lap race, so fairly short, although the laps here at VIR are quite long. So we had a better run through that last section of corners compared to the crossbow here. So going to be looking for a move up the inside of the first corner, tucking into the slipstream. He leaves just enough of a gap on the inside, and I'm going to take it. But actually, to be fair to him, I go a little bit wide in the exit, he cuts underneath, and he gets that move pretty much done. He does come a little bit wide, so I have to back off then. I wasn't sure if he was going to push me off the track. Having seen what he did to the McLaren earlier, I wasn't prepared to try and really fight him, because he's obviously not the cleanest driver ever. But anyway, it's not going to matter, because he goes wide there off the track, and I'm going to get past him like it's nothing. We can forget about him for the rest of the race. Now, we've got another Audi in front of us who just went off the track as well. So we're going to be looking to make a move on him if possible. And he doesn't take that section, that kind of flowy section, very well, but then neither do I. So I get slowed down a little bit there. I didn't take that as fast as I would have liked to, but nevertheless we are right on his tail now, as you can see. And coming onto this back straight, we are going to tuck into the slipstream and look for a move on the next corner, the hairpin that is coming up. That's what we do. A bit of a dive from quite far back, but don't know about that one. Yeah, I think I knew it at the time as well. It was a bit of a dive, brakes a little bit too late and pushed him wide, so I actually backed off there and let him take the position back. But unfortunately, that another crossbow, the KTM is very popular for this track obviously, went wide in the exit and then tried to come back on and kind of got caught up in the battle that me and this Audi were having and got shoved wide. So ended up not being able to make a move on the Audi there. But we're still going to have a look and see what we can do coming onto the final lap in a minute. You see there, he doesn't take a very good line, and I'm just considering going for a move, but this track is so thin and so cornery that there's just so little opportunities to make a move. Although he gets that last corner completely wrong, and you can really abuse the inside of that curve, as I did there, and I get past him really nicely, and that is the end of the race. I don't manage to catch up with the guys ahead, so ending up in 5th place, which actually is a really, really good result for this track. And I have to say, I was really impressed with how the McLaren did. It was very competitive. As you can see, my lap time was not far off of the leaders, which is not bad, especially because I didn't really have a clean lap. So yeah, overall, a very good race in the McLaren. Okay, so moving on to the second race of this video at Laguna Seca, my favourite track in the game. Once again, starting at the back, but a bit of a smaller pack, so only starting 13th this time. Now, first corner, always going to be scrappy. I kind of get caught on the inside there. I get forced right onto the curb, and then this McLaren in the F1 livery kind of just pushes me wide, and I get a bit sideways. But nonetheless, we gained one position, gained another on the McLaren there, and another on the Corvette. Although that McLaren is obviously lagging a bit because he kind of just went through me there. But nonetheless, up to 8th. So what? I'll take a minute to talk about the McLaren now. So, what are my thoughts on it? Well, it's definitely not a meta car in the GT lobby, which I'm happy with. I was slightly worried that the DLC cars would be meta, just because, you know, that tends to be what Forza does. They want people to buy the cars, so they make them really good. You can see there, I think that Audi tried to swipe me wide, so I give him a good race there. But yeah, actually it's not meta by any means, but that's not to say it's not competitive. I think you can definitely win races in this car. However, it's not the quickest. I think there are definitely quicker cars, but it's pretty kind of average on any track. It does fairly well, and it is quite nice to drive. It's not very oversteery, but it has a good amount of kind of turn into the corner, so it turns quite nicely into corners, but you can get on the power really nicely on the exit and not have to worry about the car oversteering too much. So I would recommend this car if you're maybe new to the game and you want to get used to driving the GT class. This is probably one of the better cars to choose because it's really quite planted through the corners, and it's quite nice to drive, and it's not too slow compared to some of the other cars in this hopper or this class. That they can be really quick in the right hands, but they can be a bit of a handful. Cars like the BMW M6, even the Corvette is not that easy to drive, so compared to some of those cars, I would really recommend the McLaren. And plus, personally, I think this car is absolutely beautiful, so there's another bonus point for it. So, getting back to the race now, we've made our way up to 6th place. This the Audi there got pushed wide by the McLaren. Now we've got Corvette looking up the outside actually of that corner, but not going to make anything happen. You can't really get a move like through the corkscrew, it doesn't really work, so he had to back off there a bit. We've got another McLaren in front of us, and he gets a bit squirrely there. I'm going to look for a move up the inside, but he doesn't really give me the space there, so I back out, look for another one. And then we've got the Audi, who's made his way back up, looking up the inside of that final corner. So I give him the space there, he earned it, he was up alongside, but he can't make anything happen, so we will carry on to the 3rd lap. Now, very aware that I've got the Audi right behind me and he's pushing, so I defend there, go a bit narrow, and it works very nicely. He goes wide and isn't able to make a move happen there. However, I'm quite aware that this McLaren in front of us is a little bit slower than I am, and he's probably holding me up a bit and putting me in danger of the Audi behind, so I'm looking for a move past. And luckily he looks to go on the right hand side of the track there to block me, but he obviously sees me at the last second. He goes wide there, 3 wide through that corner, and unfortunately I kind of pushed him off the track there. Now I did have the Audi on the inside, so I couldn't really move over too much more, but nonetheless not ideal for the McLaren there. He did kind of get pushed wide. So as you see, I made up another place there. So in the end, up to 5th place, which again is not a bad result in 5 laps at Laguna. So there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys are enjoying all the videos on the channel. Please let me know if you are. I really appreciate all the support as always. So yeah, I hope this video might have been helpful if you were considering maybe buying the McLaren. Then you know what, I would suggest you do, because it's a pretty good car overall, and it's a really good looking car. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you in a video soon.